The best grinding spot in the game. Almost. I used to avoid Tungrad Ruins like the plague, way back when this was interesting and hot and it was becoming the best of the best. I didn't have the gear to grind here to begin with, and then when my gear got good enough to actually try Tungrad, I just kept justifying it as, I don't know how the mechanics work, it seems confusing, I don't understand, and then they reworked it, they made it easy, and I still didn't wanna grind here, but here I am now. This is my current gear, which by today's standards is pretty unimpressive. I used demi-human artifacts and demi-human harmony draft because this is a demi-human grinding spot, big surprise. Just make sure you hit 1.1 thousand AP, more or less there, and then you're ready to grind here. The more AP you have, the better. Mechanics wise, as it turns out, this spot is way more simple than I expected, especially on Deadeye. I just go into a pack, hit the Visionaire, bring him down to 90% HP, he will make the other minions squishier, and then you just delete the pack. It's as simple as that. Monsters explode somewhere around 30-40% HP. It's literally just go in, hit the green dude until he explodes, and then 1 or 2 AoEs and the pack is dead. And then you repeat over and over, and you go as fast as you humanly can. Rotations. There are 4, as far as I know. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm doing the one dubbed rotation number 1, the easiest one, because that's where my AP is at, and that one caps at about 27,000 trash per hour. If you can get more than that and you, like this, see monsters barely respawning and you wanna push harder, then try one of the other 3 rotations. That's about it. Let's look at some numbers, starting with Garmoth global data. What do other people get? This is, I don't know if it's accurate or not, it feels like 24,000 trash per hour average is a bit low, because I started at about 24-25, and if I can do 27, most people can probably do 26-27. About 1.9 billion silver per hour average, 28 hours and 56 hours if you're here for the telescope pieces for rare items, one every 6 hours, the limbo seals. I also dropped one myself in my 9 hours. The events, I doubt people actually track them, because I know I didn't. It's definitely not 1 per hour, it's maybe between 3 and 9, I don't know, definitely way more than that. These every 2 hours seems about right, and good luck trying to sell the despairs, the whatever the enhancement thing is. These devouring essences, yeah, that one. For my own Garmoth data, my 9 hours, I got about 25,000 trash per hour average, 1.7 billion, so less money for more trash, just worse RNG I suppose. I started with Dosa as my first hour, 20,000 trash, just trying out the spot on a different rotation, weird rotation, so not the best, and then after that I just moved into Deadeye, 25, more or less around 25. I peaked at almost 28,000 trash and then tried a different rotation, tested experience on Tamer, and then went back to the small rotation and I get somewhere around 26-27. Didn't get lucky to drop any of the big Dark Hunger thingies. I did get one Limbo as I said, and more or less just basic stuff. I wouldn't say my hours were very impressive. On the Excel side, we get to play with numbers a little bit more. Right, 25,000 trash per hour, as I said, average, 1.8 billion on just yellow if you scale it up to 27,000 trash, which is what I can average nowadays. I know others can do 30,000 trash, so we can look at this outcome, 2 billion per hour. Agris here is not worth using, so these numbers are irrelevant, but just good for reference, I suppose. I've seen people online do 31,000 trash, that's maybe not as normal as I think, but definitely achievable. 33,000 trash per hour, that's another example. 35, if I can type it, 35, it's already 2.4 billion per hour, and I think the best I've seen is 37 something. So 2.5 billion per hour for the best grinders out there. Another variable we can change here if we go back to 27 is these thingamajiggies, which don't actually sell, or maybe they do. I definitely sold some of mine, especially after processing them, heating them into the bigger hungers. That makes it a bit easier, but it is a nightmare to actually sell the hungers nowadays. So if you don't value them, this is where this spot becomes questionable. 1.3 billion per hour is definitely really bad. So unless you're really here for the treasure pieces or you want to use the hungers for yourself to inflate your own fail stacks, then it's kind of questionable if you should spend that much time grinding Tungrad Ruins. So Duo, if money is either good or questionable, what else is impressive here? Agris Efficiency. Should you grind here with Agris or not? You probably already know if you're familiar with this place. The answer is no. Efficiency wise, this is the only number you really care about. Let's just say I barely lasted 20 minutes for the actual test. If I scale it up to 1 hour, this is a bit slow. If you look at mobs per hour, 3.2 thousand, I can do 3.5, 3.4 in a proper hour, so let's say maybe 250,000 points burned in 1 hour, and this number would not change. This doesn't scale with your actual speed. I don't mention this every single time because it gets annoying and repetitive, but basically this number means the silver you will make if you burn all of your Agris in a given spot only from the Agris. That's why it doesn't matter how fast you grind. If you compare this to other spots, it is definitely bad. Other examples would be, let's say, Trolls, better spot, Highlands, good for Agris, and you can see the rest yourself. Definitely don't bother turning on Agris here. On the other hand, for the Agris Coin, this is a different story. You see, Agris Coin isn't limited by points, which means this one does scale with your clearing speed. And I'm only mentioning that because when I added originally this spot, Tungrad, to the chart, it was rated at 20 or 21, I believe, thousand trash. Now I scale it up to 27, and only at 27 it's already one of the best, if it could be the best Agris Coin spot in the game, if you can manage the weight limit, that is. As I mentioned earlier, many people with way better gear than mine can definitely push 30, 33, 34, 35,000 trash, in which case if I edit the chart and do rate it at 35, then it becomes the best Agris Coin spot in the game. But I should at least mention that many of these spots of the entire chart, maybe I should update them and change some clearing speeds to hopefully make this a little bit more fair. If I'm scaling Tungrad, might as well do the same for other spots that may be slightly outdated nowadays. Honestly, I could say the exact same thing for Experience, the big project that after over a year still didn't happen. Some of these clearing speeds could also probably be changed and made faster nowadays. But if you look at Tungrad Ruins, it's about here, mediocre at best, about the same as Honglim Base, let's say. That's more recent, or Elvia Trolls. That's probably the best comparison. It's about the same as Elvia Trolls, which is unimpressive. Same story for skill points, about the same as Trolls, unimpressive. Loot scroll efficiency and Maids, the last stop for today. Finally something that is 0.1 trash weight and not 0.3. So you only need 9 Maids to grind here at 27,000 trash. If you grind 37,000 trash per hour, it's 12 Maids, barely anything nowadays. For loot scrolls, it's 43% for blue loot scroll out of the minions, because there are only minions here, there are no bosses, so it's not bad. And if you compare blue versus yellow loot scroll, 63% with my RNG. Obviously I could have dropped a big hunger, but it's pretty good. Usually if this number is between 60 and 70%, I definitely say just use yellow loot scroll. And yeah, that's about it. That's Tungrad Ruins. Honestly, it feels weird to finally have a spot that wasn't a nightmare to test. No weird Agris, no weird counting elites that don't scale with Agris, no strange things happening like counting monsters for rotations. It's just a very straightforward spot. You go in, you delete the packs in like 7 seconds. On Deadeye, I wonder what her cap for clearing speed is, because on the small rotation I do get 27,000 trash. Again, often I see the monsters barely respawning. I definitely can see capping out this rotation, but at the same time I am sometimes also running into cooldown issues, because my combo is 7 seconds cooldown, and sometimes that's not fast enough. Too bad I didn't get lucky to drop any of the treasure pieces, because I definitely don't think I will be back here anytime soon, but hey, maybe at some point. It's not a bad spot, enjoyable. Now, time to move to the next one. Catch you later, bye bye!